Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Counting down to pre-open, 10,536 is what the SGX Nifty is indicating. So quite a bit of downtick actually at start. 10,575 thereabout is where the Nifty future had closed. So about 40-point downtick is what's in store if we go by the SGX Nifty's opening. SP Tulsian of sptulsian.com is with us now. Ms. Tulsian, good morning. First, your thoughts on a couple of these earnings reaction, TCS and Mahindra CIE?
See, if I first take on auto ancillary, I think two results which really stand out. First is Mahindra CIE and second is Bharat Seats, and both have shown excellent results. Bharat Seats, again, it was expected because of the Maruti sales which we have seen in Q4. Coming specifically on Mahindra CIE, I think one has to really, in fact, look to the consolidated number. They have the accounting year ended on 31st December, and 31st December 2017 numbers were already seen excellent, and these are just a standalone number which, in fact, doesn't reflect truly. But in spite of that, the numbers are seen to be excellent. The huge growth have been seen in the standalone performance, and I think that must be seen, prevailing across the globe, and which will get reflected in the consolidated number. So also extremely positive with both the auto ancillary number. Coming on TCS, I will link again this with the numbers of Cyient also. Obviously, TCS has shown very good numbers, and I think that markets will really be, responding to that one-to-one bonus. But on top of it, I am more impressed with the numbers of Cyient, which is a mid-cap IT company. And if I just take a call, the kind of type of guidance in their design-led manufacturing segment and services segment. In design-led, they will be seeing their margins, get expanded maybe from 1.5% to about 6-7% in FY19. Services segments will give the double-digit growth. So I think that Cyient looks really very good at the current level. Maybe the EPS of 40, and if you take a valuation call also, EV of about 6,500 crore, because if you knock off the cash from the market cap, the EV of 6,500 crore is very much seen attractive when I compare it with the Tata Elxsi, because I'm comparing it with Tata Elxsi because we have been keeping a positive view on Tata Elxsi. So again, these two numbers from the IT segments are also seen to be quite good.
Okay. Well, Mr. Tulsian, just to remind you, June 29th, 2017, you gave us Bharat Seats as a recommendation. At the moment, the markets are in flat terrain. Nifty and Sensex started with a little bit of a green, but I really want to see the rupee and whether 66 has 66, is it? Okay, there it is, 66.06. Well, it was on the cards, and maybe it's just as well, because that will mean that imports become difficult, and therefore in domestic industries have a good play. It's at 65.79? You mean there was only one trade? Okay, 66.06. So there was a 65.79, just one flash. Okay, 66.06 is the number, and that's 1/3% lower for the rupee, and that would mean also a tailwind for the IT stocks. The IT stocks, actually it's Axis that's starting higher. Now I think this is the Power Minister's, opposition to the Reserve Bank rules. Now if there is any relaxation in the rules, these are the guys who will benefit, SBI, Axis. So at the moment they're starting in the green. I don't know if that's the reason. Axis starting with 3% higher. And then there's of course Tata Motors. TCS is up 1%. And then there are others, Tata Steel, ONGC. That's how the markets are starting. And in the red are Vedanta. Now, global metal prices also corrected a goodish bit. So that could be the reason why they are correcting. And BPCL, on expected lines, you're seeing red on BPHP.
Okay, in the broader markets, our favorite stock that everyone wants these days, Mishra Dhatu.
Okay.
That is up another day today, right? So another 5% higher over there. But just some result reactions to get a bit more serious. Mahindra CIE, good numbers coming in. Bharat Seats, as we were mentioning, good numbers as well. Cyient had a good set of numbers. So all these stocks are up in the green. Fortis is reacting on the upside after that independent board was created, a committee was created to evaluate that deal. So Fortis is now up about 1.5% or so. And a couple of other stocks to look at. IndusInd Bank is actually seeing some follow-on buying. It's a trend every quarter. Post the results, there's a bit of a sluggishness, and next day, the stock starts to see an up move. So IndusInd Bank now pretty strong there.
Oh yes, that clearly has been the case. The mystery stock really has been Vakarangi's. Just pull out that stock.
1 minute, 7.79 on the 10-year bond.
Okay.
That will come up few. I'm just reading out from the Reuters screen. I was expecting 7.7, 7.75, 7.78, maybe one extreme reaction. But I mean, clearly that it's a broken market.
Of course, yeah. And you know, once again, on what changed between the policy date till now is interesting, but the bond yield is moved like a mid-cap stock from that point. The stock that I was talking about, Vakrangi, is interesting because after continuous down circuit after down circuit after down circuit, just look at the chart. That's of course for today, but if we can just pull out, say, a one-year chart, perhaps it's giving another exit opportunity to those who've been stuck on the retail side, because let's just pull out the one-year chart of Vakrangi. That I think is material information for those who are watching the channel. From 119 to 505 kind of rally. After that, just one way slide, and last 2 days now there's been upper circuit. Today also there's, you know, looks like it's going to start in the green. Perhaps could be the selling opportunity for retail investors. But overall rates are still trickling in. It's interesting. As of now, only down about 7 points on the Nifty. Hindalco, Vedanta correcting a bit. Mr. Tulsian, on Vedanta, 2% lower right now. You reckon it's a buy on dips now?
Yes, it is a buy on dip, because if you really see, they're all verticals. Maybe the steel's acquisition is also seen to be positive. But if I just come on their existing, this one, on their business model, whether you take, firstly, if I take on a non-ferrous one, like their own this Hindustan Zinc is doing quite well. Zinc and lead are seen to be, you know, rolling at lifetime high, and at its recent high, not lifetime high. And in fact, maybe the aluminum and alumina business is doing quite well. They have their own copper business. Come on the crude also, you know, that is doing quite well. So I think they are firing on all the cylinders, even their iron ore business. And you know, once they have this steels, even capacity, because they've got that at a very good valuations at 5,500 crore. So overall, I think these things are seen to be positive. But now it has you know, become more. You need to take a view on the stock, maybe with a view of about 6 to 8 months. Maybe the near-term volatility on the lower side can be used to buy the stock from an investment angle.
Okay, IndusInd Bank, sir, starting with 1% gains. You like that, Mehrabun?
Yeah, I've always said it's a core holding in my portfolio. I think I've been stating this for many years. Kotak, IndusInd Bank and HDFC Bank are virtually in a different bracket. I think business is good. The bank is on target. The only blemish, only scar, whatever term one can use, I think has been the divergence with RBI. And whatever I can understand is about 500 odd crores, or 530 odd crores was taken off last year. And with a little bit write-offs here and there, I think the gross figure works out only around 185, 200 crores. Having said that, the fact is, this also could have been reported as one way of looking at it. On the whole, looking at the size of the books, I don't think, honestly, it matters too much. What happens to the stock? I think ignore it, continue to be invested in it. That's the way I tell my investors, because IndusInd Bank is something which I've been lacking for the last many years. And I think while valuation by some may argue that it's looking a little bit relatively expensive to most others, the fact is the trend should remain up going ahead, because business is good, corporate book is good, everything is good going for it. And the MCLR rate hike which they have taken also should augur well for the bank going ahead.
What about something like a Mahindra CIE? I mean, that stock has not performed at all over the last 1 to 2 years, but numbers are good this time. You like it?
Clear disclosure, I think I have been advising my clients over the last few days to buy into the stock and personally own it. Very positive on the stock. I think you said it. Valuation wise, if you ask me, the market has to correct even 5, 7, 8% from here, and auto NCD stocks, quite a few of them on a high. I think this stock downside could at most be 10 to 15 rupees from the present price. And if one looks at the growth trajectory, if one looks at the numbers over the last few quarters, and relative to that, the stock price performance, which you said in a very subtle way, Sonia, I think this stock, if you give me a price of 300 or 400 rupees over the next 1.5, 2 years, it will not surprise me, because I understand, and whatever I read, I believe this company is going in a different orbit over the next 2 years because of what it is doing globally. I think if one looks at the consolidated numbers, one can see a clear-cut signal that, well, great things are ahead for the company. So at 210, 220, 225, I don't see the stock going below 190, even if the market tanks for whatever reason. And ultimately, the stock should be a 300 to 400 rupee stock over the next 18 months.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Mehrabun. one of those stories is, like those Hindi soap serials that keep going on and on is Fortis. It's now becoming an unending story with more people throwing their hat. Mr. Tulsian, how would you look at the current context in Fortis, the board appointing another committee to evaluate the various bids? Should people stay invested, get in?
See, we have been giving a view of valuation on the stock at 180 on the upper side, and I think that is seen to be, we are gradually, moving towards that. Now with 5 or 6, I'm not worried for the binding or non-binding offers, because you never know when the non-binding offers will get converted into binding offers. But now we have reached to a valuation of 165 rupees from one of the potential acquirer. I'm definitely, certain or sure to see it rising to 172 to 174, maybe by a couple of rupees. Everyone is seen increasing, and 3 serious players are seen to be in the fray. One, maybe, this Manipal is already there, IHH, and third one is the Burman Munjal combines, and all of them will keep increasing the bid. As I said, 172 to 174, but the story will not end there. I think that if you really take a call going forward, once the broad contours of takeover emerges. But here the problem is more of the board. That is what I have been saying, that this board should not have take this, but at some point of time they will be hit against the wall and take the and have to entertain the other offers also, and that may probably be seeing the valuations emerging again. And I won't be surprised to see the share moving to 175 to 180, which we have been maintaining. In fact, when the stock was corrected, when the Manipal offer came in first in the last week of March, stock corrected at 125, and that was the price at level where we have initiated a buy call and said that go and buy this as a screaming buy, and we still maintain the same view with a price target of 175 to 180 to be seen maybe in the next 1 month or so on the share.
Okay, by the way, the oil marketing companies are under pressure once again this morning, and these stocks have actually lost almost 10% this week. So HP, BP, IOC are the biggest losers this week, with HP down 10%. Mr. Tulsian, the view now that a lot of brokerages have is that the marketing margins may not be sustainable, especially in an election-heavy year. What's the sense you're getting on how to approach this space now?
See, I don't know whether the election heavy year is referred with for the 3 states also which are due in the month of November, December for Rajasthan, MP and Chhattisgarh. But I am not worried for the Karnataka, and I am not taking a bearish call now on the oil marketing companies, because I have been maintaining this, that these are now all 3 stocks have become a high beta stocks, and in my view, technically and fundamentally, all 3 have hit at the lower end or maybe much more than that. So all the stocks are seen to be definitely in an oversold zone. And if you see further weakness today, and if you are a brave trader, initiate long positions, or otherwise at least as an investor, initiate a buy call, because maybe once you see any kind of new news coming in, because the fundamentals are seen to be very much in place with the, I'm not too worried for the marketing margin, because that is not getting disturbed. Apart from that, the GRM is seen to be quite good, in the Q4, looking to the big Singapore benchmark and other things also, they should be able to report a GRM of closer to about $7 per barrel, which should not be seen as a problem. So overall, I have a positive view on Q4 numbers. I am not too much worried on the marketing margins, considering the destruction in the share prices of all 3 companies having taken place. So it qualifies a buy both for a trader, maybe trader with a positional view in the next series, or maybe for the investors at the current levels as well.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, point taken. Thanks a lot for your time today. And he's bang on here. This is market's overreaction, and marketing margin has been disturbed all of half a rupee or thereabout, and that on earnings impacts by about just 15-20 paise. Unless your view is that the crude goes way above 100 and the whole subsidy problem comes back, that is a different issue. If not, frankly, way overdone, 38 to 40%. And price hikes are happening. It's not that they're not happening. They're translating. If you compare the price build-up 2 weeks back and price build-up today, absolutely in tandem with what the market is. But the pre-open rates have settled nowhere near the SGX Nifty. 10,560 is what the Nifty is settled at. Bank Nifty also flat. Ashwini, what's the first trade here, and what's the 9-10 call?
See, the market is not gapping in any direction, even on Bank Nifty, to take a significant trade. If it does that post the open, that we'll see. But interesting thing is that hardly 4 sectors are higher, while all the rest are negative. So, maybe financial should be negative, but FMCG, pharma, everything is negative other than 4. So I don't think at the open there is a great index trade. I think yesterday liquor stocks did very well. So Radico Khaitan can be bought with a stop of 415, target of 440.
Okay. Well, I just want to ask one more stock. Mehrbun, do you track Everready at all? They just had a penalty, so today they are about 10% cheaper probably.
Definitely, yes. I think in terms of valuation, I would say that I would still look at a company like Eveready. It seemingly is expensive, and you give me one reason as to if the stock corrects by 5, 10, 15%, which is possible because of what is happening right now, the inquiry and everything, and the penalty. I think I would look at it at lower levels. I'm not saying no.
Okay. All right. Mitesh, is there an index trade now or anything else that we should be training our eyes on?
Nothing, Nada. We've been holding short call positions for the last 3-4 days. I think that still remains. And in case you get closer to about 10,590, 600 during the day, I think possibly if people have not taken, I would still suggest selling into 10,600 calls for the April expiry.
Okay. Mehrbun, just quick thoughts on TCS. If we do see an opening above this 3250 mark, would you recommend putting fresh money to work here?
I would say that if somebody believes that the IT story again is having a new lease of life, which I have started believing over the last 2 quarters, I think TCS is definitely a stock which one should remain invested in. If one is looking at the numbers and believing, oh, should I buy it for a very short-term call? Well, I would not agree with that particular view because I believe quite a few other positives are there in the stock price right now. It's richly valued, certainly relatively to others because it's a little bit over-owned compared to something like an Infosys. Coming to the numbers, brilliant numbers, slight miss as far as margins goes, but the management commentary, especially as far as growth in retail goes, I think is a clear indication that things for TCS should improve. So at the present valuation, a little expensive, certainly not a great short-term bet, but for an